Deadrails, Chapter 2, Mexico? Let's talk about it. Hey there guys, my name is Skelly and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what could be next for the Deadrails story and if we could be seeing a Chapter 2 in the future. I just want to quickly mention that although the Deadrails game does not have a chapter system in-game currently, I believe there will be a chapter system implemented once we are able to continue our journey in Mexico. This would essentially make Mexico the Chapter 2 of Deadrails. But before we get into Chapter 2, let's briefly go over Chapter 1 and the reason why we are on this quest to Mexico in the first place. So Chapter 1 introduces us to the zombie plague, a dangerous virus that is quickly spreading. As survivors, we are tasked with making our way to Mexico in order to get to the cure that will save us from this zombie plague. Simple task, right? Well, actually not so simple. We have to carefully travel to Mexico on a train while avoiding getting attacked by zombies and other dangerous obstacles that are desperately trying to end us. It is a pretty challenging task to handle, but if you successfully travel 80,000 kilometers to make it to the border of Mexico, you essentially beat Chapter 1 of Deadrails. But the journey does not end there, right? Once you complete Chapter 1 of Deadrails, you only make it to the Mexican border. Making it to the Mexican border is only half of our task and journey completed, since we have to make it to the capital of Mexico in order to get the cure to the zombie plague. This is indicated in one of the newspapers that could be found in Deadrails Chapter 1, and reads, "Government officials announced today that Mexican scientists have successfully developed a treatment for the zombie plague. Authorities are urging all survivors to seek refuge in the capital, where the cure will be distributed. This breakthrough is expected to bring new hope to communities still grappling with the crisis." This is exactly why I think we will get a Chapter 2 in Deadrails. Our journey of getting the cure to the zombie plague is far from over. It just wouldn't make sense to end the Deadrails story that quickly. I and many other Deadrails fans collectively believe that we are far from the end of the Deadrails story. And I'm sure all of you guys watching this video also believe that the Deadrails story is not over yet. So what would Deadrails Chapter 2 look like? Deadrails Chapter 2 is obviously going to take place in Mexico. I think this is pretty obvious, like we're not all of a sudden gonna spawn in Canada and continue from there, you know? And our task is going to be to make it to the capital of Mexico in order to get the cure to the zombie plague. This cure was made by Mexican scientists. I believe we will still be riding a train in Chapter 2, as the name of the game suggests. We still have quite a distance to travel, however, in order to get to the capital of Mexico, which is Mexico City. If you look on a world map, Mexico City is pretty far away from the American-Mexican border, where we made it to at the end of Deadrails Chapter 1. I think Chapter 2 in Mexico could bring many cool things to Deadrails as well. I think it would be cool if in Deadrails Chapter 2 we would get a lot of new things introduced into the game related to Mexican culture. For example, I think it would be cool if we were introduced to more zombie variations in Chapter 2. In Chapter 1, we already were introduced to a couple zombie variations, which I think is great because it adds variety to the game. A perfect zombie variation that could be added in relation to Chapter 2 in Mexico could be a zombie wearing a sombrero. I think this would be a great addition to the many zombie variations that are already in the game. A zombie wearing a sombrero would be great because sombreros are an important part of Mexican culture, so I think it would be nice to appreciate the Mexican culture while we are playing Deadrails Chapter 2 in Mexico. Another addition that I would like to see in Deadrails Chapter 2 is the introduction of more random locations around the map. I think it would be cool if while riding on our train in Chapter 2, there is a chance that we could stumble upon taco stands around the map. Tacos are another part of Mexican culture, so I think it could be awesome to find taco stands in Chapter 2. Taco stands would also be the first building in Deadrails to be related to food, so this can introduce a new melee weapon in game, such as a frying pan. I also hope that enemies such as zombies, werewolves, and vampires return to Chapter 2. I think they are great for the gameplay of deadrails, and they should definitely return. I believe the gameplay of Chapter 2 will be very similar to the gameplay of Chapter 1. It would make sense that the zombie plague has spread to Mexico as well, so we will need to be careful of the attacking enemies. I would also like to see new enemies that we have to be on the lookout for in Chapter 2. One enemy that I thought about is scorpions. Scorpions are quite common to find in Mexico, so they would be a perfect fit for Chapter 2. Some gameplay features I thought about for scorpions is that they would be small and slow. The idea is that you would have to look out for them closely and make sure that they don't go near you so that you wouldn't get stung by them. They would be pretty slow, so you would have time to notice them. They would also be weak. One hit with any weapon would instantly kill them. However, you need to be careful that a scorpion doesn't get too close to you, or else they will sting you and cause you to be poisoned for a certain amount of time. The poison does fade away after a bit of time, but it will cause you to lose health during the time you are poisoned. Think of the poison feature of the scorpion sting to work like how Minecraft poison works, if you've ever played Minecraft before. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think about scorpions being added to deadrails Chapter 2. Chapter 2 will probably introduce another boss into the game, sort of like the Nikola Tesla boss battle in Chapter 1. I think the Nikola Tesla boss battle is great, because it adds more content to the game and allows you to do a side quest and complete more things inside of deadrails if you wish. The reward for defeating Nikola Tesla is also pretty good and gives you an incentive to actually go and beat him. Boss battles are pretty cool in games, and I think the boss battle in deadrails is perfect for players that want to challenge themselves even more. I hope we will see another boss battle in Chapter 2, and if we do, I am excited to see what the boss will look like. The thing I personally am most excited about for Chapter 2 is the lore. I enjoy following lore in games, and I think deadrails has the potential to be a game with some great stories and lore. I certainly hope Chapter 2 will add a lot more lore to the game, and I hope we can learn about the zombie plague even more. I would also like to know more about why we are getting vampires and werewolves spawning and the lore behind them. After all, we are trying to survive a zombie plague, not a vampire or werewolf plague, so it makes me wonder if there are other factors that are making these vampires and werewolves spawn, or if there is someone or something behind this mess and we will have to stop them in order to bring everything back to normal. I am thinking about making a video talking about the entire lore in deadrails so far, so be on the lookout for that and make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss that video. A question we may all be thinking about is, when will deadrails Chapter 2 release? I think that is hard to answer right now, because I think for now the developers are probably working on more updates for Chapter 1 and are focusing on improving gameplay and other things in Chapter 1 before Chapter 2 would release. That makes sense though, since the game is still in pretty early development, so it might still be a while until we see Chapter 2. I'm sure there's still going to be a lot of updates that will release before Chapter 2, so it will be exciting to check those out. Either way, whenever Chapter 2 releases, it will be exciting. But anyways guys, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you all are excited about a Chapter 2 in deadrails, and hopefully I gave you some ideas of what Chapter 2 could look like. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more deadrails content. Make sure to comment down below any ideas or things you would like to see in deadrails Chapter 2. I recently talked about a potential saloon update coming to deadrails, so if you missed that video, be sure to watch it on my channel. See you guys!